Hey, Spencer.
Yeah, Shane?
Do you want to talk about Jim Carrey's 1999 or 2000 classic, How the Grinch Stole Christmas? Or actually, Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas?
Yeah, why not?
Well, let's do it. So this is our first Minisode.
Yeah, so we'll do these from time to time with, I think, movies that we like but don't have like a ton to say about.
Yeah.
So I think we'll probably do quite a few like new release movies this way.
I think
just ones that we're a little enamored with, but not quite like haven't had the time to like fully analyze and look at it.
I like that. I think this also opens it up to other kinds of conversations.
Yeah, you and I have already come up with like a whole list of fun, weird discussions or games that we can do in between full episodes.
100%. So we're kicking this off this year
on Christmas Eve,
no
less. For the fans, all three of you.
And we got to do a little fake out on the previous episode for the Man on the Moon episode.
We're changing up the formula. You never know what's gonna happen.
We're doing some Kaufman-esque pranks over
Ooh,
here.
it's gonna get weird.
Speaking of getting weird, let's talk about the Jim Carrey classic.
Yeah,
how the Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Weird. And I'm gonna start asking this question more on this podcast.
Yeah.
Do you remember how you watched it for the first time?
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely
no, you don't?
not.
Okay.
So my memory sucks. I watched it when I was a wee babe.
I have a
I was a child.
very like weirdly specific memory of having the VHS with the clamshell. You know what I mean? Like I also, this is something I do where like I could go through my ticket stubs. You could cover the theater I was at and I could tell you which. Like, I'd be like, oh, it was a Cinemark. That'd be the Cinemark down in Rockwall. I saw that one. I saw that with this person. Like, I just have a weirdly encyclopedic memory about that and nothing else.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a VHS clamshell back when we had VHSs, which dates me a little bit. But
I'll date you a little bit.
We had the VHS DVD combo.
Whoa! I literally forgot those were a thing.
Yeah, we had one of those for a long time. Anyway, so yeah, I was curious if you remember the first time. You grew up on it though, right?
Yeah, like it was. I mean, like I feel like my mom and my parents like don't like that movie, so like they didn't want me to watch it all that often because they just didn't like watching it with me. But like I remember really liking it as a kid, and you know what? Screw it, I still like it as an adult.
I still like it. That movie holds up. I watch it. I used to watch it as a kid, like every Christmas. Now I don't. I watch it every couple of years now.
I think I've watched it. I mean, I know I watched it last year. Watched it again this year.
Yeah, I watched it 2 or 3 years ago with some like cousins. We all wanted to watch something, and then last year I didn't watch like any Christmas movies except Miracle on 34th Street, which is a great movie, and you should absolutely watch that. And then listen to that episode. Anyway, so yeah, I grew up on it, and it's funny. There was like certain movies we watched all the time, like this, Hook.
Yeah.
A couple like Aladdin, and my dad never watched this or Hook. So I was like, I love this movie. He's like, I've never seen it start to finish. And I was like, what? It was on all the time in December.
Papa, how could you?
Papa. So yeah, this is a movie that I love dearly, and every time I rewatch it, I'm scared it won't hold up. But you know what? It does.
Yeah.
It's funny.
There are several like bits and jokes in it that are still really, really, really funny. Not only in 2023, but as an adult.
Yeah.
Like isn't just like bottom of the barrel.
His like whisper echo, but he's like, so the reverberation will not get back to me, and I cannot hear it. You're an idiot. It's like that is so clever.
It's great.
His Jim Carrey, I think it needs to be said, like, we talk Jim and Amy, we're very critical of him.
Yeah.
And I think rightfully so.
Yeah.
But like when you see Jim Carrey at his best, I genuinely, for me at least, I think of this movie a lot of the time, like doing the Jim Carrey thing, I should say. I think his best performance is more like Eternal Sunshine or Truman Show, something like that.
Yeah.
But Jim Carrey doing Jim Carrey, there's not quite anything as good as this, which tortured him to make. He hated it. Like, do you know how long he spent in the makeup chair?
It was like hours. It was like hours. I
like 8 to 10 hours a day getting that. Which now they have it changed. You know, they do way more like prosthetic mask kind of things that are better now.
And he said he had to take training from like the FBI or something like that, like torture training.
Oh yeah, because of how bad sitting in that chair was for so long. It was like
torture for him.
Yeah.
So he had to like literally go through torture classes in order to be able to handle it. Yeah. So,
and the crazy part is he turned in one of his best performances after that. Like, I feel like there's like a world in which a lot of actors would have had a bad attitude and phoned it in and done everything they could to like get out of that.
Right.
And he just showed up.
No, it's like it's like Herculean how emotive he still is underneath the weight of all of that you know how awful it is to be inside of. That being said, it is also one of the most like it is a phenomenal prosthetic makeup suit that he is. It's phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. Not only is like in terms of like resolution, like absolutely like beautiful down to every detail, it is also a perfect recreation of the Dr. Seuss character of the Grinch from the book and from the
animated film,
the Doug Jones animated film,
which that is also great. I love that. Yeah,
I obviously like whether I think he's like the best person on the planet or not. Like obviously I don't want somebody to go through something like that.
No.
That being said, like it is so phenomenal on the other side. Like it wasn't for naught. It wasn't a waste because like, I mean, even to this day, that iteration of that character is still so beloved that they're all at the Universal or whatever. They still have that character, that Grinch walking around. Like he's like a walk around character at Universal Studios during the holidays.
I mean, there's some things he does physically in this movie, let alone just his voice and stuff, but there's some things he does physically in this movie that's like burned. Some of the times when he like stoopers away and walks are like burned into my brain. The scene where he's wrapping her up and he's just like
burned. Can I borrow your finger for a second?
Yeah, it's like it's unbelievable how much he's like throwing his body around and how much he like has stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's so good. Also, I keep forgetting this movie has like fourth wall humor.
Yeah,
where he'll like, this time I'll keep it off. Like
this time I'll keep it off.
It's like genuinely so funny.
It's like children these days so desensitized. It's great.
It's so good, and it's way more adult than I remember.
Yeah, it's very adult. There are some
a la the swingers party, which I didn't know about till this rewatch. Where I was like, whoa, which is very fun and funny.
His adoptive lesbian parents throwing a huge swingers party the night that he lands at their house.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's so good.
I love it.
Also, something that. Whatever, if you have issues with this movie, you have issues with this movie. I'm not gonna like die on this hill or anything.
Yeah.
But man, there are things about it that are great.
Yeah.
Like genuine, like you were talking about specifically the makeup work on him specifically, incredible. But man, the production design in this movie, unreal what they're doing. The work is so good.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think quite a bit of the like effects and stuff have held up pretty well.
Yeah, there's like some stuff that doesn't look amazing, but there's a lot that does look really good still.
And it is benefited by it being cartoony. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to be photoreal, so it can look a little like plastic and rubbery. That's part of it. But I don't know, man. This movie is held up in a way that I think it's not quite given like actual credit past nostalgia. Like I think there's things in this movie that are just good.
Yeah, I think it's very like loud and brash and like throwing a lot of things at you and if that's not your cup of tea, that's not your cup of tea. That's fine. But like if there is so much I think to give this movie credit for that. I completely agree. Like what you're saying, it's like I don't think that this movie has been given the flowers that I think it necessarily like kind of deserves. You know, like I think like you said, like there's so much to like about it, so much about just the production, just the quality of the filmmaking. I think goes unappreciated. I mean, like
it's like directed by Ron Howard. He's like a professional. You know what I mean? He shows up, does his job, does really good work, and then
just Ronnie showing up.
Ron Howard is weirdly a journeyman director, but not at all. You know what I mean? Like we know Ron Howard, like there are Ron Howard things you can kind of pick up on in his movies if you like, you know what I mean? But he's not a Fincher. He's not he's a very interesting distinction for.
There is like maybe you can find some connective tissue across his filmography, but I think it's wild.
Honestly, it's going to be a lot of his like directing choices, like the very minimal ones. Like I know he really likes like the 50 millimeter lens. Like he uses that constantly he talks about it. He's just like, it's a good confrontational lens. He just talks about like that. Like he shoots a scene similarly a lot, but it's very fundamental filmmaking. It's not very stylized.
Yeah. See, that being said, like there's a lot of style in this one. Where like in a movie like
Apollo 11.
Apollo 11. That was exactly Apollo 13.
13. There's a bunch of Apollo movies.
Apollo 13, Apollo 11.
Let's just
11 is where they landed on the moon. 13.
Let's just change Solo.
Or A Beautiful Mind. It's like like a movie like A Beautiful Mind. It's like it has its kind of moments of style, and it has it. There are some stylistic choices being made, but it's like comparing, Apollo 13 to to the Grinch. I think those are very, very, very different. Truly, stylistically,
it's all of it is fascinating to me. I mean, I'm talking about a director coming into. This is a weird thing. I want to see more. I want to see more like big directors come into a Christmas movie.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, and see how they play with the tropes of that or the vibe of that. Like we just had last year, we had Violent Night. Which turned out really well. I mean, that movie's like dumb, but it's awesome. You know what I mean? It's all that Yuletide cheer.
Me and Meg watched about half of that last night before I started falling asleep. So we're probably going to finish it later this evening.
I may watch that tonight, actually. I like that movie. And then we just had Silent Night, which is a John Woo, his first American film, and like first movie in a long time, and his first American movie in a very long time. And that came out and it was fine, but it's mostly just like an action thriller set at Christmas time. So it's like I want to see more directors. Like, what would Fincher do with a Christmas movie? Because we have Shane Black, who just makes movies that are Anyway, that's not something I've ever really thought about, but I would love to see.
Yeah, it's like I wonder what the economics there are. You know what I mean? Like I wonder what. I mean, because like what I can't think of the last How the Grinch Stole Christmas like level of production for a Christmas movie. I can't think of one that is that. No,
most are I think animated at this point,
or Hallmark level. Or not even Hallmark level. Like don't get me wrong.
Like I guess I like that movie Happiest Season, which I actually enjoy a decent bit, but that's still like verging on Hallmarkian. You know what I mean?
But like that's small family comedy, dramedy.
We have the Tim Allen Santa series on.
Okay, I forgot about those.
On Disney right now.
Boo.
Apparently he's been an asshole on that set.
What? No, an asshole. Tim Allen is being an asshole.
True.
No, I can't believe it.
Wild thought. But yeah, Grinch. I like Jim Carrey. I don't only want to give him credit performance wise.
No, I think the movie's phenomenally cast as well. Like I think the casting across the board is great.
I mean, who plays the dad?
Yes.
The dad. I think he has some of the quietest, funniest bits.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like when he's kicking himself around on that ladder, putting the mail up, and he's just like throwing his body, and it's so good. Like that side of this movie is also not talked about. Oh, the bit with the Gatling gun light.
That has awoken something deep inside of me.
Yeah.
That should not be spoken about in public because, man, I appreciate that scene in a way I didn't used to when I was a kid. Christine Baranski. I'm going to sorry, Christine. Come on the pod, Christine. We love you. We love you as Martha May.
We do.
Bill Irwin as Lou Who.
Yeah.
Or Lou Who.
Yeah, the mayor's assistant is also one of the unsung.
His Ron Howard's brother.
Yeah, kind of unsung hero when he's like, "Do something," and he just shaves his head, and it's so brilliant.
Jeffrey Tambor, kind of boo as a human being, but like I think he's great as the mayor.
Yeah.
Taylor Momsen as a baby Cindy Lou. You know what I mean? Like I think she's great. Molly Shannon, Queen Molly Shannon, we love you. I bask at your feet in your glory.
Whatever dog played Max is
shout out.
Oh, he's killing it, doing so. That's another bit. This is the walk is when he's like, he's directing him like and then he pauses. He's like, brilliant. Cut. Moving on. Check the gate. And then he does his little march out. That's the walk that's like burned into my mind with his little cap and it's so good. God, this movie's got so many good bits.
Yeah. Did we talk about his voice last year? Did we do this? I feel like we talked about. Did we not?
We might have. We
might have done this on pause or on pod last year, as just like a BCD segment. For the longest time, I have thought, and
we did. We've talked about this a couple of times. Yeah,
and I'm going to continue to publicize this until I get Jim Carrey to respond. For the longest time, so I've even looked into this to see if I could find inspiration on how Jim Carrey like found the voice of the character, and like he has, as far as I can tell, as far as I can find in old interviews and stuff, he's only really responded to it once, and people keep comparing it to Sean Connery, which I understand, and I don't
kind of got that, all that,
and I don't disagree with, but I do actually think that he doesn't sound like Sean Connery. I think he sounds like James Stewart. I think he's doing a Jimmy Stewart impression or not impression. I think that's layered into that. Yeah. I think he's doing the original Bob Jones cartoon Grinch voice, as well as Jimmy Stewart in It's a Wonderful Life, as well as some other like, villainy Sean Connery kind of things. But it's like there are so many lines where I'm like, that is just straight Jimmy Stewart in It's a Wonderful Life. And I love that. I think that's like such a fun, weird choice. If that is where his head was at, I would be fascinated to know that, because I can't unhear it. Because like Jimmy Stewart has just that like iconic voice, and then iconic kind of thing. That I there's no world in my mind that I don't think he was pulling from that, at least a little bit in some of the line deliveries and some of the the enunciation.
I can absolutely see that.
And I will fight and die on this hill. Jim, Mr. Carrey, please come on the pod. I'm sorry for what we said last time, but I need confirmation, sir.
Yeah. You're not afraid of criticism.
Hey man, you're just you're
just floating around,
speck of dust floating in the universe.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, like I think this movie has gotten. I think it does. I mean, like, look, it was a big budget movie that did well at the box office, and like I'm sure has done great in post release since then.
I mean, it definitely has its like following of a very specific generation. But there's people who don't like it. I mean, there's a lot of people who don't. They're like, that movie was too long and bad. I'm like, it's really not even that long.
No,
like,
and I honestly really do appreciate what they're trying to do. Like obviously like the original Doug Jones. I said Bob Jones earlier. I meant to say Doug Jones. I apologize. Doug Jones. The original Doug Jones cartoon obviously is more faithful to the book just because it's so short. Where I do really appreciate how they integrate Cindy, how they expand the story and make the Grinch a more thoroughly wrought character.
Yeah, like he's actually pretty interesting in all honesty. Like his back, just talking about a gag. His name is The Grinch. It's not Grinch.
Yeah.
Like he's like on his like name tag or whatever on his desk says The Grinch.
Yeah.
Brilliant. But yeah, I agree with that. I think they legitimately flesh him out in a way that's really fun and interesting.
Yeah.
Like, they give a backstory to it, which sometimes is dumb and bad, but in this instance works.
Yeah.
Like, I'm into it.
Good
movie.
Yeah.
Also, how'd they get Anthony Hopkins as the narrator?
Stack of cash.
Yeah, like a large one. Yeah.
And that being said, I don't know. Anthony Hopkins can hang. You know what I mean?
Oh, he's been in a Transformers movie.
Also, like he is also having fun in the booth. Like that dude's having fun. Like specifically, like when he's actually stealing the presents and stuffed it all up, and he's doing he's into the thing. Like like you could tell that he was having fun in the booth on that one.
Yeah.
I
love Anthony Hopkins.
Sir
Anthony Hopkins.
Sorry to just call you Anthony.
What a guy. And Tony.
Hey, Tony. Come on the pod.
Come on. It'll be fun.
Have you seen any of Anthony Hopkins' TikToks?
No.
He has a TikTok. They're insane. That man is a crazy man, and I love him.
I love it.
It's just him making insane faces and sounds at the camera. It's crazy. I love it.
That's great.
Yeah.
Why not?
It feels like him trying to get in, there's like stories of Jim Carrey and my brain is not working today. Batman Forever.
Yeah.
Two-Face.
Tommy Lee Jones.
him, like Tommy Lee Jones, like is trying to meet him at his level. I feel like that's like he's trying to meet the Jim Carrey craziness. And I feel like that's what Anthony Hopkins is doing with his TikTok.
Yeah.
Is just trying to meet that level of insanity. Or maybe he's just a crazy person, but in a beautiful and amazing way.
In a fun way.
Yeah.
With multiple Oscars.
Yeah. I love that, man.
Anyway, do you have anything else to talk about this? Or we're doing a quick little comment?
Christmas this year.
I just meant the movie.
What are you watching this year? What have you watched?
So what have I watched? Oh God, what have I watched? This
Die Hard.
Die Hard. This and Die Hard are the only two Christmas movies I've watched this year. Like I said, I'll probably watch Violent Night. I'm definitely gonna fit in It's a Wonderful Life because it's one of the best movies ever.
Would you do that with your family at the family?
I might see if my dad wants to watch it this year. That's my dad's favorite movie ever. Is It's a Wonderful Life.
A good one.
We have a poster of it and we've had it in our house for years. I love that movie.
Yeah.
I'll probably. I'm gonna watch that one. Games we play. This is a fun one we play at my family. Not necessarily Christmas themed, but when there's gatherings, which often happens at the holidays.
Whoa!
It's a game called Left, Right, Center. Do you know what this is?
No.
Okay. So when you buy it at a store, it's a dice that says L, R, or C, left, right, or center, and it comes with chips. And so everyone has one or two or however many
like
chips.
Doritos?
No, like little we pass Doritos around. We lick them and then hand them off and they have to eat them.
Sweet.
No, but like little like poker chips essentially. And if you roll left, right, center, and then there's like a dot, and the dot means you keep it.
Okay.
If you roll left, right, or center, you have to pass it left, right, or put it in the center. And the last person with money or with chips wins. We play with money. So everyone has like $3 or something. If you ever want to start a fight with your family, we don't. We have fun with it. Yeah. Everyone just gets excited for whoever wins.
Like that or Uno, one of those two.
Oh, Uno causes fights in my family. Yeah, no, that one is very real. That's the game you should play with your family. Is just get everyone to bring $3 or fucking quarters. Who cares? Yeah. And just play that game because it gets so intense because it can change out. Yeah. Like one person can end up with $5 and it can just spread back out and turn back into a big game. Very fun game.
So it's not necessarily like a strategy thing or anything like that.
No, you just roll dice and you pass it around, and so it gets real paranoid right in between games. Everyone's like, "Fuck, switch seats! They're winning, and they're so lucky. We're gonna sit by them, so the money stays with it." Like it is so fun, and it's like a very fun game to watch. Like, and because once you're done, you still just people watch and you watch everyone play. It's a good one. That's what we'll be playing at my parents' house.
I love it
for Christmas. What about you? What do you got going on?
As far as me and Megan have a much more thorough Christmas regimen of not only movies but also
activity. Yeah, this is the smallest Christmas I've had. Last Christmas at my parents were 45 people.
Holy God.
Yeah, for all of the events and stuff, with Christmas Eve, getting together, whatever. This year it's just my family. Oh, I'm so excited.
Oh, that sounds so nice.
They have a hot tub at my parents' house, and I will be sitting in that constantly. It's going to be amazing. I'm taking a week off work. I can't wait. Yeah.
So far this year, I've watched The Polar Express. I don't really like that movie, but it's good to have on in the background while you're doing other Christmas things. Yeah. So we decorated the house while we were watching The Polar Express. And then when we decorated the tree, we watched Home Alone. We watched the Jim Carrey A Christmas Carol, the animated one. That movie's insane. And like there's I like that's the thing is like, I think that's actually like a really well written script. Like I think it's actually a really good rewrite of A Christmas Carol interpretation, adaptation. But the freaking visuals are so insane that that's like what ruins it a little bit. But like that being said, like I think there are some visual things that it does that I think are actually really cool.
Yeah.
Then we watched While You Were Sleeping, which is do you not know anything? It's Sandra Bullock and Bill Pullman, and Bill Pullman's brother. She works at a train station in like Chicago, I think. Bill Pullman's brother, this like really handsome like businessman, and he gets mugged and falls onto the train tracks, and so she pulls him off, and like he gets like knocked out and like hits his head, and he falls into a coma. And so she takes him to the hospital, and while she's at the hospital, she's been like in love with this guy from afar for like months at this point. And so she takes him to the hospital. He falls into a coma, and she like kind of just out loud to herself says, "I was gonna marry him." And so one of the nurses hears him, and she's like, "Oh, let her go in there. She's his fiance." And his whole family is there and like hears that, and they're all like, "You're his fiance?" And so she has to just kind of like go along with it because one of the family members has like a really bad heart, and so she's afraid like if she tells her she'll die. Yeah. And so she just kind of goes along with it and like finds this family that she didn't have before. It's actually really sweet. It's like I like, it's not the best movie ever, but it's like a really sweet like
sometimes
winter rom-com.
Sometimes you need that in the holidays.
I highly recommend it. It's a good one. How the Grinch Stole Christmas. We watched Die Hard. We watched the first part of Violent Night last night. We have a whole list of movies that we...
Y'all watched Home Alone.
Oh, we watched Home Alone. Exactly. Yeah, we watched Home Alone when we decorated the tree. And then for the rest of Christmas, we've got like a bunch of others that I want to... I really want to rewatch Spencer.
Yeah, because it's a Christmas movie.
I absolutely loved that movie.
It's a Christmas movie.
It's a Christmas movie. Some other ones that I would like to get through this season. Happiest Season, you mentioned that one. I really like that one.
I like that movie.
We rewatched The Holiday with Jack Black and Jude Law, Kate Winslet, and Cameron Diaz. That one's a good one. Shout out to putting Jack Black as a romantic love interest and it not be like played as a joke. Like, no, he's just the romantic
character.
He's just a character, and he's amazing and lovely and perfect. And I really, really like that movie. It's one of Megan's favorites. And then all the classics like, Rudolph and A Muppet Christmas Carol. I really want to watch that again this year. Elf, It's a Wonderful Life on 34th Street. Most of those will probably get watched on Christmas Eve with my family. But yeah, like I've got a whole list. We do them every year. I love a good Christmas movie. And we kind of start on the lower end and make our way up to the absolute bangers.
Yeah, for the Christmas times.
Yeah, Christmas Eve, we talked about this last year, but Christmas Eve, me and my family always watch a bunch of movies and play a bunch of games and make a bunch of junk food. That's our Christmas day.
Yeah, that's actually, I've found as I've gotten older, I've met more and more people who it is Christmas Eve is their bigger day than Christmas.
I mean, because it's like, at this point, all of us kids are growing up and have families of our own, so it's like harder to like actually spend Christmas Day with my family, and especially since like Christmas Day is like making food and having it's more like traditional Christmas dinner, lunch, whatever. Christmas Eve itself can be a lot more relaxed and be a lot more fun. So, so that's what I got going on.
Good times. Happy holidays, everybody.
Yuletide cheer. If you haven't watched Miracle on 34th Street before, go watch that movie. I feel like that one has completely fallen out of the public consciousness in a way that like actually frustrates me. Don't get me wrong, like It's a Wonderful Life, like all of those phenomenal. Like go watch those too. But if you haven't seen Miracle on 34th Street yet, go watch that one. The original, not the 1991. I think it's 1954 or something like that. Go watch that one. It's so good. It's my absolute favorite Christmas movie. And then go listen to the episode about it because that one's a fun one.
It's a good time.
Yeah.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Merry Chrysler.
Merry Chrysler.
Merry Chrysler.
So go watch Christmas movies or don't. I don't know. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.